Today is August 3rd, 2023. This is the regular meeting of the City of Menifee's Park, Recreation, and Trails Commission. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock and 15 seconds. Roll call. The clerk, could you please do roll?
Chair Ackerman,
Present.
Vice Chair Faust,
Here.
Commissioner Bowen,
Here.
Commissioner Bangle, Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. And I'd like to ask Commissioner Bowen to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Presentations. We have presentations. Mr. Nix.
Yes, we have two presentations tonight. The first one is an introduction of our new commissioner, Laz Peterson. I'm going to give the floor to him to do a brief introduction.
Thanks, Jonathan. So I guess we'll start off with my name, Laz Peterson. I was born and raised in California, spent a little bit of time living in Utah, near the national parks, the outdoors, and upon coming back from California, the city just wasn't for me at that point, so I kind of ventured out, and a couple times actually we came to Menifee, my wife and I, in 2014. We decided it wasn't for us. We came out a year later and decided it was for us. And so we decided to move out with our she wasn't even one yet at the time, so our first child. Since 1997, I've worked in the data and communications field, managing enterprise networks, data centers, things like that. I own two businesses locally. We don't actually do a lot of business here, but we do spend a lot of money here, and which is interesting. I feel very strongly that the parks and the recreation systems are really kind of the social glue that binds a city together, and the youth up into all through the citizens, and the social media thing that's going on. I mean, it's great, and it pulls people together from the other side of the country, but the reality is that our children especially, they need a face-to-face, and they need to look somebody in the eye, and they need to feel, the grass and the air, and that's what, makes our children thrive. And speaking of, I've got an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and they comprise my little subcommittee of park enthusiasts. And let me tell you, they're never short on something to tell me, whether it's a good or a bad thing. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to serve. And so far, it's been wonderful working with the city, and you all have been a great help, and I'm very excited. So I really appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Welcome, Laz, to our commission. Appreciate that you're here. 4.2, Senior Programs and Cultural Arts Update.
Yes, Commissioners, we have our Senior Center Coordinator, Aisha Jamal Wilson, to give us an update of all the wonderful things going on at the Senior Center and all the wonderful programs that we're providing throughout the community.
Good evening, Commissioners. As Jonathan mentioned, my name is Aisha Jamal Wilson. I'm the Community Services Coordinator for the Senior Programs, Cultural Arts, and oversee Menifee Transit. So I'm going to provide you an overview of what we've been up to for the past year or so. So I'm going to start off with the senior program. So the Senior Center is a place that people come to receive information on senior-related programs, not just for seniors, but for families, caregivers. We provide information on services, programs, and activities for them. Every year we try to expand our services and our partnerships and educational workshops so we can empower the Menifee residents, 55 plus and older, to continue to live a healthy and independent life. Our senior center offers a variety of activities, daily activities from card games, health and fitness activities. One of the things that is pretty popular is our congregate meals program, which is offered Monday through Friday. We have approximately 80 people that come to eat lunch every single day. Another thing that has been very popular are health education workshops, because it's not just about it's physical health, but mental health as well. So we do a variety of workshops such as brain health, meditation workshops, also physical activities, healthy eating, and a lot of the seniors enjoy that. And those workshops help, like I mentioned, maintain those healthy lives, and also how to learn to become independent and continue to become independent. One of the things that we do on a monthly basis is our monthly food box. We were fortunate to start this program right before COVID, and since then it's continued. We average approximately distribute 800 boxes a month to seniors in this community. Between the monthly food box and the congregate meal program, to participate in those two, you have to be 16 above. It's free services. The congregate meal program is a $3 donation, but you're not refused service if you don't have the donation at the time. And it keeps all the seniors coming. We feel like these are good services that we offer within this community, and it's very unique to our community. In addition to our programs and activities, we collaborate a lot with some of our community-based organizations to expand our on-site services. So some of the on-site services on our slide is caregivers, workshop, bereavement, utility assistance, legal aid, and Medicare. So we work and partner with Riverside County, the health Hospice of the Valley, and HICAP, which they're insurance counselors that provide independent or provide non-biased information and educate on Medicare. So next slide. So we have also our Menifee transportation services. Back in September 2022, Council approved and authorized a memorandum of understanding with Caravan to provide transportation services to Menifee seniors and disabled residents. And this started in late October. And so we've created this partnership with Caravan, and Caravan provides door-to-door service to seniors and people with disabilities, offers services Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, and they offer basically services anywhere. It could be to restaurants, visit a friend, hair appointments, medical appointments, also to the senior center. So there isn't any really true restriction to that, except for we maintain it within the city. We did kind of expand services where they could go to Kaiser Hospital, Loma Linda, and the VA hospital or VA clinic in Marietta. So, but they're very flexible organization, and they really truly try to help the senior in any way. I know that they've done special transportation services to doctor's appointment as far as Temecula. I know that they've even taken some veterans out to Loma Linda, or out in Loma Linda to the veterans office there. So they're very they're passionate about providing services in our community, and so we kind of really we're very lucky to collaborate with them. Their suggested donation for their rides are $3. They never refuse anybody if they don't have $3. So if they have $1, they will offer services. They're very, very practical. If someone calls and needs service in the next day, they will work with them, and they'll register them on site as they're riding their bus to their destination. So like I mentioned, we're very lucky to have this organization. We're working with them. In addition to our transportation services, we do try to go out and get everybody educated on what other services that are to offer in Menifee. So in addition to our Caravan, we do have RTA Dial-A-Ride, and then we have their transportation trip program that we educate all our participants that are in need of transportation services. So we understand that it's not a one size fit all, and maybe that service Caravan can't help, but maybe Dial-A-Ride can. So we want to make sure that they're educated and they know their options to get around in Menifee. To provide a quick overview, we've provided over 913 trips, over 10,000 miles. We've attained 80 new passengers, and we've offered 100 and, well, we've had 130 participants that attend our workshops. So we have also branched out in the community, and we're doing workshops in different HOA communities to make sure that we could get this information out. So if you guys know anybody, have them call the Case Innisero Senior Center, and we could set up a workshop in their community as well. And our numbers up there, our number's 951-672-9673. Our next workshop is August 17th at 10 a.m. at the Senior Center. And then I also have the future transportation workshops that will be held in the next 3 months at the Community Center. Next slide. In addition to those other services, we've also branched out and created a cultural arts division in the past year, and we wanted to really enhance our programs within our Menifee community. So the purpose of our cultural arts was just to educate and promote creativity and cultural awareness by showcasing art, educating different cultures, and highlighting just the residents and what they bring to our community. One of our first events that we started off with was Art Affair. This past year, we were very fortunate enough to have 4 different showcases, and we showcased local artists that display different artworks of different mediums. We actually took it to the next level, and we had 2 themed art nights where we highlighted, in September, we highlighted Hispanic Heritage Month, and in February, we highlighted Black History Month. In total, we've had over 68 artists participate in the Art Affair, and we've had over 1,000 participants attend our showcases. And on a bigger scale, we've also hosted 3 cultural art events. Our first event that just took place last week is our Arts in the Park. Our Arts in the Park event showcased musical performance, art displays, and performing arts. This was the city's first Shakespeare in the Park, and we were excited to be showcasing that. It was well received, and I know someone here attended, or one of the commissioners attended, and I got some good feedback, so I'm happy to hear that. We had over 150 people attend, and we did hear a lot of good comments, so we're hoping to continue to grow this event and it be a highlight of the summer for summers to come. Our next our event that we have is in October, which is Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. And this is a event that celebrates the life of a loved one who has passed. In addition to that, we provide education on, what does that mean? What does Day of the Dead mean? And also we provide music and different cultural performances, and of course food. And we really celebrate the night, and we encourage residents, community groups, and school clubs and organizations to participate in this. And that's kind of our one of the things that we really do highlight, get the community involved so that they could educate others, because everybody in the community has something to bring. And so some of our events here, we do that so we could get them to highlight the things that make them special as well. And that's what Day of the Dead does. And we really encourage everybody to come. So we hope next month we could provide more information and a flyer so you guys could save the date. For right now, we have the date, which is October 28th, and hopefully we'll share the location next month. Our last event that we highlight on an annual basis is our Multicultural Festival, and that's another event that we really love to showcase the culture of the community. And we do this by encouraging residents, community groups, as well as clubs and organizations and schools to highlight countries. It could be a country that they have been fascinated with, or a country from their, people and their, they're from, or even, a country they just, they visited and they fell in love with. And we ask them that they highlight and display information, artifacts, just some of the things that people may not know much about that country, we ask them to highlight. We provide cultural performances, different artisan vendors, and food as well. This event is a growing event, and we're really excited to bring it back next year. In overall, we've had over 5,000 people attend these events, and every year we hope to grow and grow this event. And this concludes my presentation at this time. If you guys have any questions.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Faust?
Aisha, thank you for the report. On the transportation numbers, was that, is that just for Caravan?
Correct.
The 913? And so that's like 3 to 4 averaging a day, I guess, trips. Are we meeting our target goals there?
Well, we really haven't
As
set.
far as usage?
Yes, so they are continuing to grow. One of the things that they are not trying to grow really quickly, part of their grant, they were to receive additional vehicles. And I know we're kind of on the same, I guess, boat as them. They're still waiting for their vehicles to come. So they do operate, we were designated vans and a 15-passenger bus. So they do rotate with their other services within their other communities, but they maintain the growth. So this is something new. And I know with a lot of the seniors in the community, it's something like if they haven't tried it, they're kind of fearful of trying it. So we always try to encourage, we've done special events so we could incorporate Caravan. So we did that in for our health fair, and we let them know that we will be offering rides to the event. And so that encouraged them to kind of at least test out what is out there. So we are growing steadily. We anticipate, I know that they've held back to really kind of taking it to the next level because of the lack of some of their vehicles. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, the health fair was amazing
Yes.
turnout this year. I'm so bummed I missed the Shakespeare in the Park. I hope that will be an annual thing.
I hope so. It will be.
And was the venue okay for that? Did it work out? Or?
It did work out. I think definitely we would probably relocate to a more intimate location. I know we were like on Newport, so we did get that bounce off. And the performing arts group, they perform with projecting of their voices and didn't really want to utilize the mic. So that's one of the things that we realize if we do continue in that route and the way they want to perform, we definitely want to relocate in a place that's a little bit more intimate and quieter.
Great. And I love the Day of the Dead celebration. I have a friend, I think that's what it is, Mila. Yeah, ready to go for next one.
Yeah, so you should get the email in the next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioners, any more questions or comments? Commissioner Bowen?
By chance, do you collect demographic information for individuals using the transportation resource?
We do not, the extent of it, we can get the demographics. So their registration form does ask certain things, but they are not required to fill out. So they choose to, if they choose not to fill out certain demographics, it's not required. They do fill out like a CDBG form, and some of the things that the forms are optional. And so the intake form that is received is taken to Caravan. We do keep a copy, so we get an opportunity to get like an insight of what that looks like, but we don't have a true breakdown of demographics just because some of the questions are optional. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Aisha, we appreciate what you do.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
It's what you guys do. Moving on to item 5, approval of minutes. Have you a chance to look at the minutes? Are there any corrections to the minutes? Could I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve.
Second.
Second, any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Thank you. Item 6, agenda approval or modifications. Any agenda approval or modifications?
No modifications.
Thank you. And item 7, public comments, non-agenda items only. Any public comments?
No public comment.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 8, discussion items. 8.1, master plan future agenda item recommendations. I see we have our master plan right here. Yay. And thank everyone who was involved with getting this done. So, Mr. Nix?
Yeah, I definitely want to thank the commission for being very involved and engaged and getting the word out to obtain a lot of that input from the community and make sure we had a very good quality master plan. One of the lingering items we've had on our agendas for a long time are a lot of future agenda item requests on future improvements or different program ideas. So now that we have the master plan complete, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Mitchell to kind of crosswalk how many of those items were addressed in the master plan.
All right, good evening, commissioners. I'm very excited that the master plan is finally complete. So it was officially adopted by City Council on July 19th. And it's exciting to have this document that's kind of going to be our guiding force within the next 5 to 10 years for us as far as budget, staffing, CIP projects, all that good stuff. So what we're going to do tonight is kind of go through some of the future agenda items that were lingering on some of our agendas and kind of talk through how they were addressed in the Parks Master Plan, and then afterwards kind of have a discussion on whether or not some of those items are fully addressed or if there are things that we might want to revisit as we work towards implementing the master plan. So I'm just going to go through the table that you have in front of you. One of the items on there was for annexation for county land for a regional park. So this is kind of addressed in a couple different areas when we talk about facilities and amenities and administration. And so we know that a lot of this is kind of some of the things that were included in the master plan are things like we want to continue our discussions about annexing all parks within city boundaries, including valley-wide parks. And then the master plan also talked about private land acquisitions. There are some infill opportunities for land that might be privately owned, where we could discuss about either outright purchasing or acquiring that land or going the way of easements. But it essentially one of the larger broader recommendations was to kind of seek out partnerships when it comes to looking for larger parks, either a sports complex or a nature area, open space. Some of those things are often done in coordination with either the county or developers. So that's kind of the direction that we're looking at taking when it comes to looking for those bigger, larger open space or sports complexes. Next, we have our aquatics facilities and programs. Again, that was one of the items that we weren't surprised to see in the surveys from our residents. We are currently in discussions with Paris Union High School District to utilize their newly built pool at Paloma Valley High School. This is relatively new for the city to either run or fund aquatics programs. So, we're hoping to be able to bring something back in the fall for implementation in the summer, depending on the direction of council and how that works out. So again, just looking to expand into some additional programming. Bryce will probably review it a little bit later today, but Banner Village Park does have a splash pad. It is a smaller splash pad. It's kind of our dipping our toe into the water, so to speak, when it comes to splash pads and maintaining these type of amenities. So hopefully we can learn and grow and expand into future park developments, some additional splash pads, either newer developments or find opportunities for infill in current existing parks. Additionally, the city has a facilities work group that is kind of meeting and discussing potential larger facilities, how to fund or finance those facilities, things like the future city hall, future police department, a community center. We do have that land that's been allocated to us from Riverside County next to the Menifee Library. We know that we want a community center there. So again, looking to fund some of those larger projects so that in the future we can potentially acquire some more aquatics facilities and programs. The next one we have is the dog park. We know that people love their dogs. I love my dog. So we wanted a lot of the references in the master plan were basically, when we look at the NRPA national standards, we actually exceed the NRP recommendations because we do have the ELP Peterson Dog Park, and then also on the other side of town is the Aldergate Dog Park, which are relatively large parks. But we are still looking at expanding ELP Peterson as a part of our CIP program this year. So again, we want to take care of our dog owners and trying and making sure that we add amenities to existing parks where people can walk their dogs, even though it may not be a full enclosed dog park. So moving on, one of the other items was conceptual plans for equestrian staging areas. So this one kind of falls under the trails and connectivity component that was a part of the master plan. This was mentioned in a couple different areas under recommendations, which is in Chapter 6, current and existing facilities in Chapter 5, and then also we have a whole appendix, Appendix E, dedicated to trails and connectivity. So one of the things that was pointed out was that we talked about what was existing. There are existing equestrian trails in areas around Menifee, such as Lake Paris, Diamond Valley Lake, and Cabian Park. There were also some areas that could have some potential infill. I know we talked about Salt Creek Trail, the connectivity from one end of Menifee to the other. So those are all things that we're taking the time to really take a look at. The equestrian staging area requires a lot of space, so it's really difficult to find things that might be already existing. So that might be a future phase for additional expansion when it comes to the Salt Creek Trail. And currently in the feasibility study, we're looking at the component or the portion that's directly behind the Oasis. And so still in the research phase, we've done our stakeholder interviews, and we're hoping to be able to complete the study we're looking at the end of October, early November, to be able to bring that information back to PRTC to talk about next steps. But again, when we look at our trails, we're primarily focusing on multi-use trails. We want to make sure our pedestrians, our bicyclists, and our equestrians all have somewhere to go. So we're kind of honing in on all modes of transportation, and especially connectivity throughout the city of Menifee. The next one we have, it's kind of a couple different things. We had talked about a future heritage park, public arts in the park, public art tribute to Audie Murphy because of Audie Murphy Ranch, and then some directional signage. We kind of lumped this all in because it kind of has a little bit to do with placemaking, which was a big component of the recommendations. You know, again, we're in line with the strategic plan. We really want to find ways to help the city create that unique identity that we're seeking. And so with that in mind, in this year's CIP program, we had included a new project for public art in the park. So it is funded, and it is something that we're looking to find a way to figure out how to be fair and equitable with art, and working with our local artist communities, and making those opportunities available to the public. So again, just in the beginning stages, and we're hoping to kind of move forward in that, make some progress as the year progresses. And then also in our CIP program, you know, last night the City Council talked about city wayfinding and signage. We're going to be focusing on what we are going to be working on this year in our CIP program, which is updating our park signage. So those signs on our picnic shelters talking about park rules, ordinances, how to get a hold of somebody who works in the city when it comes to park amenities, picnic shelter rentals, some of those things. That's what we're looking at updating in this next fiscal year as a part of our CIP program. And then last but not least, it also is trail maps coded by level of difficulty. This one kind of was alluded to in our technology recommendations, and something that we are currently working with both IT and, well, I guess it's IT, who also has a GIS division, is trying to find ways to make sure that the existing trails that are city-owned trails, either in the parks or user-created trails, that we can have a one-stop shop to find this information. But it's still preliminary. We're still kind of looking at potentially using the My City app, because there is a component that could outline park maps, trail maps, and things of that nature. And we're working on trying to make that a little more robust, because right now you can find parks. It just kind of gives you a little bit of information, but we want people to be able to access parks and trails that are for public use. So that essentially covers the items that were part of the future agenda of previous meetings. So if you guys would like to have some discussion and some questions or need some clarification, we're open to that.
Thank you, Mariana. Discussion and questions, commissioners? Les?
Just a quick question. I'm sure you might be covering this a little later on, but for the Banner Village Park, what is the tentative opening date?
Do you want me to spoil it now, or no? I'm just
You don't need to
kidding.
spoil it
No,
now.
it's not a spoil. I was just, it's going to be opening, depending on, to the public, anywhere from 30 to 90 days. So it just depends on where that's going. We're about to get into the 90-day maintenance period with them. They're doing their final little final little things repaired at the park, ready for us to do our final inspection to be able to open it. So.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr. Faust.
thank you, Chair. Is there a conceptual design yet for the Peterson Dog Park expansion? You
So
guys got to-
there's been conceptuals in the past that have been drawn up. We don't exactly have a conceptual, but there's only so much land that we know where it's going to be. But no, there's not really a new conceptual but when we do draw one up, we'll bring it into the commission.
So you guys are kind of looking at moving it a little south?
Yeah,
expand
so
south a bit
it'll
towards the
remove some of
trail
that
and-
planter where the larger dog park is. It'll expand that so it's larger, so the dogs can run a little more. More usable space instead of it just being the planter there.
Okay. And you mentioned, Mariana mentioned the equestrian staging number 3 behind the Oasis was one kind of area that they were looking at, but it seems like most of our equestrian is in the southern part of the city, and to me, it seems like more of our focus. I know it's not close to the Salt Creek Trail, and getting to the Salt Creek Trail is not easy, but a lot of our equestrian folks are really in the south, so.
Yeah, one thing I want to note, what I said we were looking at a potential equestrian use of the Salt Creek Trail is that we don't want to just put something there to say that we checked a box, to say that here's an equestrian trail. We want it to be usable. We want our equestrian community to be happy to have this amenity. So if it's not going to fit, then we don't want to make it fit. So obviously we are, part of the recommendations are looking at other areas outside of Salt Creek Trail. That just happens to be the major connectivity from east to west, but definitely open to other areas where our equestrians would like to stage.
Is there an equestrian organization or something in the area that's had a voice at all, provided some input?
We do have our writing academy that was able to provide a little bit of input based on some of their experience. And then we also invited back one of our past commissioners, Tom Gitteroyce, who currently serves on Riverside County Parks Commission, who is also an equestrian and had a long-standing history with Salt Creek Trail, for some feedback on that as well.
Awesome, awesome. And then for a heritage park, and I know that this is something that our mayor is very interested in, is pursuing as well too. Are we doing any kind of preliminary work as far as looking at potential properties that may be available to purchase or to be in the near future? I understand there's some properties that are time sensitive.
Yeah, I believe what's provided to us annually is a list of properties that might be in default when it comes to taxes. And so those might be prime opportunities for us to purchase some of those recommended infill locations. It just depends on whether or not the time is right, if it's the right space, if it really meets our needs. Again, not trying to check a box, but really identifying whether or not the resource is going to be usable and help us meet our goals. So.
And we're still proceeding in this current CIP year with the new park ranger station over by the skate park. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Anything else, commissioners? I personally want to thank you for your discussions with Paris Union High School District as far as aquatics programs go. I know I've pushing that, so I appreciate that very much. Okay. Moving on to 8.2, committee appointment review.
And Ms. Jones is going to handle that one.
Hello. So at this time, staff requests the commission to review its current appointments and vacancies to various city committees and groups now that we have Commissioner Peterson on board. So we should be able to pull up the 8.2 slide. There we are. So before we start, would like to note that we are requesting to dissolve the Parks Master Plan Ad Hoc Committee. As we just discussed, we've accomplished that goal, so we no longer need that committee. So that will free up Chair Ackerman and Commissioner Bangle, at least for that that group. So with that, the first vacancy is for the MCAC, which is a 2-year appointment. Currently, with the with the current appointment and with Commissioner Payne leaving the commission, we do have a vacancy there. So if we would like to appoint a second person to that committee.
Anyone interested?
I could go for it, yeah.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Peterson.
Okay, so I have Commissioner Peterson as the second on the MCAC. Next, we have Teen Award Selection Committee, Commissioner Bowen, Chair Ackerman. I currently sit on that. Would you like to remain on that, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, please.
all right, that was easy. Okay, so the next one we're dissolving, and then we have the Parks Make Life Better Ad Hoc Committee, which has a vacancy. Prior to Commissioner Payne leaving, we had 2 commissioners on that group.
I could fill in for that one as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Peterson.
Okay, great. So next one, we just would be asking for an alternate, which is the Riverside County Transportation Committee that focuses on specialized transit within the city. So Commissioner Bengals sits on that. Would anyone like to act as an alternate?
Is there a limit on how many we can sit on?
I don't believe so.
I can be an alternate for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowen. Okay, so the next is the CEDS, the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Committee. So we also have a vacancy for an alternate. Is anyone interested in that one? And I'm not sure if that one requires an alternate or if we just.
Can you refresh us on what that one does?
Yes, that one has an annual meeting with our Economic Development Department. They pull in folks from the Planning Commission, Senior Advisory, and a lot of folks from like Mount San Jacinto College and the school districts. And they look at different long-term developments within the community. If, there's I don't know, a need for, like, say, offices for technology, that kind of thing, or if, we need more, specialty dining opportunities. So they look at that. There's been a complete CEDS policy and program developed, and so they meet at least annually to review that, look at recommendations, look at, new business opportunities to come to the city on the horizon.
I would be interested in that.
Okay, so I have Commissioner Bowen on the CEDS committee. And then lastly, we have the Complete Streets Plan Project Advisory Committee, which is currently being attended by Chair Ackerman and Vice Chair Faust. And so I believe we're going to look to keep that one the same. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
those meetings have already started. Okay. Okay, and then that concludes the committee appointments.
All right, thank you. Item 9, Community Services Department comments.
Okay, with director comments, I only have one comment, but a very important comment. This is the city's 15th anniversary, and so this year we're doing something a little bit different. Usually we do a State of the City address that's handled in the morning. We'll have like breakfast. This time we're going to do it in the evening. So we're going to have it on Thursday, October 19th. We're doing it at Mount San Jacinto College at the new stadium. So this is a first venture partnership to do it at the stadium, to have a city event there. So it starts at 5 o'clock with a VIP, and all of you are VIPs, by the way. Taste of the Menifee showcase, and then we're going to have a free community event after that. Usually we just have that kind of VIP banquet style update of what's going on in the city, but this year we're adding that free community component and having a kind of a birthday bash and concert right after it. So, and just to note, we are still doing the Fall Festival 2 days later. So we're doing this and the Fall Festival because it's 15 years. So we got to make sure we really go with a bang this year. So I wanted to make sure everyone is aware of that. Even though there's the VIP component, there's a component that's open to the general public that's free, and we'll have a concert and booths and all that kind of stuff. So wanted to get that on all the commissioners' calendars, make sure if you guys are available, I know it's a Thursday, but if you are available, we would very much love to have you come.
Since, question, Chair, since the anniversary is always going to be October 19th, is it always going to be back-to-back then with the Fall Festival? Are we looking at shifting the Fall Festival, or?
No, the actual
birthdays-
anniversary of the city is actually October 1st.
October 1st,
Yeah,
okay.
the third Thursday of the month is typically when we have our State of the City address. And so this year, just because it's, kind of a memorial occasion for the city, this milestone to be at 15 years, that's why we're changing it up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 9.2, Parks in Progress.
Hand it over to Mr. Howell.
All right. Good evening, Commission. Welcome, Commissioner Peterson. Few updates. Underwood Park, as some of you saw, we opened up last month, which was an amazing park that's there. Banner Park is under construction. Courts Ranch is in the 90-day maintenance period. I'll get over those in the next two slides. And then Legato, as we know, is almost completed with the design review. They, in the background, been turning in their plans. We've been getting everything like that. So once that development gets going, it will be going. There's multiple parks. There's a large sports park there, 13-acre sports park. It'll have a rec center, multi-purpose fields, 3 of them that are lit. There's going to be multiple little pocket parks and paseos that are through there that have playgrounds or exercise equipment that go through the neighborhood. Just so that. And then the Sun City green space that's in the pre-design that we're working on as one of the CIP projects that with a grant that we got to build that green space for the neighborhood there. So as Courts Ranch is right up on Evans Road, Evans and La Piedra, it's a 5-acre sports park, so that has another lit multi-purpose field, has 2 picnic shelters, a tot lot. It actually has 4 pickleball courts. We changed those into pickleball instead of the tennis. Has the restroom and 1 basketball court that's there, but I know a lot of people are excited to get the more pickleball courts that are there. So this is a really nice park. It should open anywhere about by October 1st, probably somewhere beginning of October, late September, that one will be open to the public. And then Banner Village Park. So as you can see, this picture right here is drone shot is from the developer last week. So they laid all the sod. What we're doing, we don't want to get into a 90-day maintenance period. We want the sod to get a little bit established before we can do anything, let it root. There was the little fine touches that they're doing there. They're waiting on some utility hookups, but that will be open real soon. We're excited to open that one. I know the public's there. I live near there, so my kids will be there, so it's there. But it's definitely, it's a nice little park. It's still decent size, nice parking lot. So that's all I have for Parks in Progress, if you guys have any questions.
Commissioner Faust.
Chairman, thank you. Courts Ranch, is the dedication getting pushed back due to some
Yeah, so
issues, or?
there was some technical difficulties with some of the lights that they were receiving, the walkway lights. They won't have all of them in, and we're not going to open a park to the public that doesn't have all the walkway lights. They ended up having to change some of their fixtures that were on there, that they were custom poles, so they have different cameras are able to connect to it with the lighting and things like that. So they were custom poles. Those don't come in until about the day that we were originally going to have a grand. We were trying to have a grand opening, but so that just pushed it back a couple weeks.
I just noticed in driving by there today, and the park looks beautiful, at least from the street, and appreciate these interior photos. La Piedra says no parking along the park there. I wonder, is that going to change? I know there's a bike lane now, but it actually says no stopping anytime. And I don't know if Evans is going to have the same signage. Or
Evans does not have the sign, because that's where a lot of the parents drop off their kids for the school
For
and
the
everything.
school, yeah.
I'll have to look into the signage there on La Piedra, why,
yeah.
if it's going to change. Not that there's going to be a park. Before there wasn't anything there, but now they're developing. So I'll have to look into that. And at least it does have a parking lot, but
Yeah,
that'll
it's-
fill up.
Sure, it's
I mean,
really
you
small,
have 2 soccer games going on. That's a lot of families that are there. So there will definitely have to be some street parking. But I'll look into that to see.
Yeah, because it seems like, and then at least Evans has the nice little walk path up from Evans, but yeah,
Correct.
La Piedra says no stopping anytime currently. So
Okay, I'll have to take a look at that.
it's probably because it blocks the bike track. And on the Banner Park, just on that photograph that you had, what's the area on the right there, that circular area with the vegetation kind of scattered through it?
So where the trees are and things.
Yeah, are
it's-
those trees?
Those are trees that are in there. There's picnic tables. It's just so over to the right there.
Yeah.
It's a seating area. It's just a different type of the area for the park. There's DG, things that you can just hang out at the park with your family. So
There'll be table, is that concrete?
it's
or
concrete. Yes, it's concrete. The very top part of it where it's a darker gray, that's a decomposed granite. So it's just a different, and there's tables over there. So
Okay. And then you have the shade structures on the top.
you have the
left
shade
there.
structures. There's on the
the
top.
back.
There's the two. The one's all the way to the left of that, and then you can't see it. It hasn't been striped yet. That's another thing that they're working on. There's the big gray spot that's in the center. It looks like just a bunch of concrete. That way will be painted. It's a basketball court
Okay.
near the
And,
restroom facility.
And the restroom is in that big sidewalk,
The
that
green,
concrete?
yeah,
concrete
the
area?
green area that's there, and then that circle that's right in the middle looks like it has the seat walls. That's going to be your splash pad there, with the water squirting out, and then just to the left of that is the pump station
Oh, it's the pump station.
for
okay.
the splash pad.
For the
Yeah,
splash pad. Awesome. That will be well used, I'm sure.
yes, it will.
Thank you, Bryce.
Welcome.
Commissioners, any other comments? Regarding Banner Park, I was by there last week and checking it out, and my concern is Lindenberger and Falcon High Drive there, and people crossing the street. It's 5 lanes, and I know the rest of the Banner development's on the other side, west of there, and there's Menifee Greens development, which is west of there. So has there been any discussion about putting in a crosswalk there?
So you're talking about just directly going straight across Lindenberger from there?
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure where there's the next crosswalk is. There's still some CFD areas that have to be, that they're constructing with sidewalks on that development. So I'm not sure where exactly that is and when it's going to be, how close it's allowed to be to that next, to where Lindenberger meets Dominigoni or Newport right there.
Right.
So I don't know what the distance is on that. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, we can follow up with the Public Works Department on that one.
Okay, appreciate that. I know people are going to be, coming to
Yes.
that park and
Yeah.
want it to be safe.
Sure.
All right, thank you. Item 9.3, solid waste and recycling update.
Ms. Jones?
Good evening. So I'd like to give the Commission an update on solid waste and recycling, also known as Menifee Recycles activities over the last few months. As far as our education and outreach, we've really ramped up our event booth presence. We've trained several staff to rotate that booth and offer information to the community about some of the new state mandates to recycle organics, proper recycling, and then also some of the bill assistance and business assistance programs that we still have available for the community. We are ramping up to send mailers and emails to some of the smaller generators that need to comply with the SB 1383 mandate as well, to let them know that the city is here as a resource. And we do have the business assistance program if they'd like to take advantage of that. Some administrative updates, our edible food recovery grant. I did get confirmation from the vendor that we can still expect our refrigerated box truck to be delivered this month. So that will be really exciting for the Menifee Valley Community Covered, as they will be able to expand their operations permanently into different areas of the city. We also recently submitted our electronic annual report to CalRecycle, so knock on wood, that won't come back with any questions. We are making really good progress with our SB 1383 NOINC, which is the Notice of Intent to Comply, that a lot of cities had to submit as part of the SB 1383 mandate. So we are making good progress there. And then we were just informed recently that there will be a second round of grant funding available which we anticipate to be awarded by February. So as far as litter abatement and diversion, we routed 27 illegal dumping requests, and this is for illegally dumped bulky items, like refrigerators and couches and things such for whatever reason people have left on the side of the road. Waste Management also collected 2 tons of litter as part of the litter abatement program, which focuses on 23 square miles in the city every month. Not square miles, I'm sorry, linear miles. Not listed here, and I can provide more information at the next meeting, but September 23rd will be our next bulky item drop-off event for the community, which will be held at Heritage High. So we expect this event to be really well attended. We will have some new components at this event that I can share with you for the next meeting. And then we have Jessica here, one of our staff members that regularly works our Menifee Recycles booth. So those are pretty well received.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Commissioner Faust?
Yes, Corey, so how do we demonstrate compliance with the recycle mandate? The food, the food recycle mandate?
What part?
I guess how do we demonstrate to the state that, I mean, we've implemented the programs, we've given out, we've done public education and stuff, but when it gets right down to it, how do they know that we've complied?
Yeah, and so there are several reports that several groups under CalRecycle that require periodic reporting to see where every jurisdiction is with their compliance. We also have the electronic annual report, which is basically full detail of like every aspect of your recycling program and outreach within the jurisdiction that you're required to do, and they want to see the metrics and what you've accomplished over the year. So it's constant reporting to meet their diversion goals. So it's not necessarily something I think that we'll get to and then we're done. It's really like a pretty lofty goals that the state has to get certain things out of the landfill. So I think it's just a work in progress, which they're working with us on because they know we need to ramp up, education and outreach.
So as long as we're demonstrating that we're doing the outreach and the education and stuff, we're complying.
Right. Yeah, they do like to see a good faith effort.
Sure.
Certainly.
They're not looking for like X tons of increase in green waste or something yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Thanks.
Commissioner Bowen?
Have you guys utilized outreach at the local schools, whether it be like elementary schools, high schools, middle schools? I feel like that's a great opportunity for the younger ones to start learning positive recycling habits, but then also like even like when you go to the school, they tend to just like not be aware of the proper ways to recycle.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that. So I have been in contact with the school districts to try to look at some creative programming. There is an outfit that does like assemblies that make it really fun and interactive, but it's more of a partnership that needs to kind of take place. So those are discussions that I've been having. I also have reached out to several of the local schools to make them aware that we do have a consultant and a business assistance program, which they can also take advantage of to make sure they're setting up their bins correctly and that their staff is educated on how to properly sort. So yeah, it's an ongoing conversation for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that report. 9.4, Recreation Division update.
All right. So I've got a few slides. Again, we have our regular attendance and revenue slide that kind of details the type of programs that we have, our attendance numbers, number of participants, and our revenue. So this is the start of the new fiscal year. The information isn't on here, but I would be proud to say that from the previous fiscal year to the end of the last fiscal year, we exceeded our target by over $200,000, which is great because that means people are registering for our programs and we're serving our community community. So again, some of the bigger things are our admin team has made some great strides in trying to expand the type of contract classes that we have available for residents, things like Taekwondo. I believe we're going to be starting up a singing course and watercolors and just trying to expand the type of activities that are available after school hours. So again, you can see that in some of the revenue sources, and then also our fields to continue to be regularly used by all of our league users. So we're excited that, again, our programs are being attended and our amenities are being used. Some updates for the Recreation Division. We've got a lot of things going on. I'm just going to highlight a few of them. The first one being our football camp. This is an annual camp that we've hosted for the last few years now in conjunction with some of our local NFL players that either in and around Southern California that will be working with Menifee's youth to kind of hone in on some of their skills as we lead up to our flag football season, which is scheduled to start in September. So on Saturday, August 12th at Audie Murphy Ranch, we are hosting this camp for ages 5 to 17. Registration is required because all registrants will get a t-shirt. And then again, we want to make sure we have enough materials for this camp to take place. So we do encourage you to go to the city website to take care of that. But again, really excited to bring this back again year after year. A couple other things. We have Healthy Menifee that's out there, going out to our parks, working with our residents, getting them fit at the park with Pilates and Zumba and our regular regular early morning walks to try and stay out of the heat, and then some of our senior programs that Aisha had mentioned earlier in her presentation. Additionally, now that summer is officially over for us, doesn't feel like it's still really hot out there, but our school year programs are ready to start. So that means our Tiny Tot programs, our after school adventure program, our teen hangout out at Lazy Creek are all ready for our youth who are looking for someplace to go, either after school or parents looking for that preschool type program. We're excited to say that these are all back and ready to go. So registration is now open. Anybody interested in this can go to cityofmenifee.us I'm sorry about that, register and register directly online, or come on down to the Community Services headquarters down next to the Queso Center, or go directly to Lazy Creek to take care of any of those registration options. We are also accepting applications for our youth leaders of Menifee. These are our future leaders. They are a tremendous group of teens that are coming out, volunteering their own time, wanting to make a difference in their community, be leaders to their peers. And so we are accepting applications for officers. The deadline is August 31st. And our next Teen Awards is going to be taking place for fall. And applications are currently available, and the deadline for that is October 23rd. So again, summer's over, regular school year programming is in full swing. And I believe that concludes my recreation updates. If you'd like me to continue with special events, unless you have any questions.
Thank you. I just had one question. The new fee schedule for athletic field permits, was implemented right away? Or
Yes, that was implemented in our last session.
And it looks like from statistics where those fields are being used, and
Absolutely.
and no negative feedback from the fee changes, or?
I haven't seen any negative feedback. None have risen to my level.
Okay, all right. Very good, thanks.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes, I do have a question about some of these activities and classes that are indoors.
Okay.
About where are we at as far as capacity, physical capacity, and attendance?
I'd say we have Lazy Creek Recreation Center, which had double in size recently with the addition of the second building, and a lot of those programs are at capacity. Our morning programs are completely filled with Tiny Tots programs, and our afternoon is typically the elementary age school classes, as well as our high school and teen classes at Lazy Creek. And then we also take advantage of the fact that our KSNSO Senior Center, most of the programming ends at 5, so seniors aren't really coming out looking for things to do in the evening, and so we program that with contract classes. And contract classes typically take place from there Monday through Thursday until 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on the program. And then we also have a small room in our CSD headquarters. We call it the West Annex, and and that one is kind of a mirrored room. We often, that's where Zumba will take place or some health and fitness programs because of the mirrors, and that's typically in use 2 to 3 days out of the week. So we're definitely programming our facilities where we're at capacity, I'd say, out of all the spaces available, including the North Annex on the Case campus. We're probably about 95% capacity. There might be a little space here and there in some of these odd hours, mostly during the daytime. But when it comes to programming and expanding our programming, we are open to partnering with other organizations like we did this summer. We offered a day camp at Santa Rosa Academy because our regular day camp at Lazy Creek filled so quickly. So again, just open to opportunities and working with other organizations to provide additional programming.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowen?
Where can families go to apply for the youth leaders of
Youth Leaders of Menifee?
Menifee?
Yes. They can apply online. It's cityofmenifee.us/ I said it right that time, YLM. And the applications are available online.
Okay, any more questions or comments? Thank you. 9.5, special events update.
All right. So now that we finished our Park After Dark series, our summer series, our August is a little lull in the action, but we're going to take some of that time to kind of look at some of our internal processes, debrief about some of our summer events, try and find ways to kind of continuously get bigger and better, create some efficiencies. But in the meantime, we want to be able to provide some save the dates. We do have a couple events coming up in September and October, and the first one being our 9/11 commemoration ceremony. This is actually an event hosted by MSJC, and the City of Menifee does assist with some pre-planning. We have staff and equipment out there, but ultimately this is an MSJC event, and we're just offering this our support in order to commemorate 9/11 and the impact it had on us as a nation. So that will be coming up on September 11th at 8:20 at the Menifee Valley campus. And next after that, we have our art affair, which is going to be taking place on September 22nd at 5 p.m. at Case Senior Center. Kind of what Aisha said, we're going to bring out local artists, have some food vendors out there, and an opportunity for people to showcase and just see the talent that Menifee has to offer. And then moving into October, we have our Clean Air Expo, which will be coming back, and I believe we have October 7th dedicated for the date. We are looking at hosting at MSJC. We just haven't gotten all of our final approvals yet, but so location says TBD. But last year we had done an electric car show, and we'd like to kind of keep that component if we can. So those are some of our upcoming events. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Wondering, the 9/11, do you know where on the campus that'll be?
I believe they are looking at the courtyard in front of the stadium, but I'm not 100% certain. I believe that's what they're trying to. Yeah, the stadium's a beautiful backdrop. So.
Okay, all right, thank you. 9.6, capital improvement program update.
Okay. As we all know, if you've used the park's Low Marsh restroom, is finally open. It feels like it's been open for a while now, but we haven't had a meeting, so we make sure that this stays out there for you guys to know. So Low Marsh restroom is open. We've removed the portable restroom that was there for years at the site. Central Park Amphitheater, it's out to bid. It closes next Friday, so we're excited to get those back to see what it's going to actually come back at, so we can get that into council and get approval. We could start actually maybe building that amphitheater, which is highly needed. The parking lot resurfacing at ELP Peterson has already started. If you've gone by, it's all torn up right now. Next week, the asphalt gets torn up and repaved next week, and we'll open that right back up. What I don't have on here, it reminded me, was Commissioner Faust, was the AMR project, which has the ranger station on there. So it also, I'll make sure maybe next time we can put that up there. It has the layout. So there's the ranger station that's going in the back part that's fenced off right now at Audie Murphy. So that'll be there. It'll have a room for their programming in there so they can do their classes. They can do any kind of things like that. And then right in front of the skate park, we are actually going to put a permanent little building there. It'll be a ticket booth for all the users that are there. Right now, we built like a little shed. The staff calls it a shack. It's not, but that's there's a small little building in there. So we will. They're getting a one with AC, different things like that. So staff will have the internet thing, a computer program, stuff that they can do out there in front of the skate park. So that's the AMR improvements that are going on there. But we're excited. Right now we have the design. We've already purchased their prefabricated buildings. We just went out to bid, received one bid back for the utility design. So we already have the plans for the building. Now we're going to get the plans for the utility once we get all that together, because there's already water on site, there's sewer on site, but we need to have those. How are they going to tie it into the building? Then we'll go and move forward with that to getting our stamp plans through the city, and then we will go out to bid for construction on that real soon. And then for La Ladera, I left that one out of there on purpose because of the next slide. If most of you were at National Night Out, you would have seen we've removed about 32,000 square feet of turf that are there so far. A lot of plants that are going in. It's all been retrofitted to point drip, but also it'll transition in the next 2 weeks. We were waiting on a lot of parts, so that's why we kind of jumped around it. We started it, and then parts took about 8 weeks longer than we anticipated to get. So it kind of put us on hold. But by the end of, not next week, but the following, we will be recycled water at that park, which is nice. It actually comes from Audie Murphy Road. It goes under where the school is, and then it comes out, and we're able to tie in for us. So we're working hard on that. The maintenance staff, my maintenance staff, is working really hard in getting that completed. And then as soon as we do, it'll be a nice, beautiful addition to the park before we start other projects at that park that are in our CIP program for this year and next fiscal year as well. And that's all I have for capital improvement program. If you have any, I'll go on to the maintenance.
Commissioner Faust.
Thank you. Could you add the bridge as a regular update, or is it too soon for that?
Yeah, the Paloma Wash Bridge.
Paloma Wash Bridge.
It's public work engineering that are working on it, but I can get some updates on that, and we can definitely add that in for this next time. So we can we have our monthly meetings with them. Unless do you have?
I think the prefabricated bridge itself was put out to bid, and I believe the bids came in a couple days ago, right? I think it was August. It's supposed to be August 1st.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're reviewing that. We're hoping to award a contract for the bridge and the amphitheater at the same time to take it as one project. So we'll probably have more information at the next commission meeting.
Yep.
Awesome, because we gave some input on design, and I assume it seemed like that was a consensus on
Yes,
the
there's a
design.
lot of components to the bridge. The bridge is prefabricated, but there's a lot of components that they're trying to make it so it'll flow with the amphitheater, shade sails, different things that match, the archways to the bridge. So it matches the amphitheater, so it's not just here's a bridge and here's the amphitheater. So it's one flow. So when people are using it, they can go to the restaurant, go across the bridge, go to a concert, or whatever we're having at the park. So, but it is all going to be one there, as well as the parking lots that's going to be being built there. Where City Hall will eventually go, that lot that's there, that we're doing the parking lot now, so that way we have parking for when we open the amphitheater.
Thank you. And lastly, do you know, did they include an access gate for Catherine Newport's to La Ladera Park?
No, there is no access gate. I know the school district wanted to, they decided not to do that and then built a larger multi-purpose field. I know when they originally were doing the designs, I think there was talks about doing that, and then they ended up doing their own multi-purpose field.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, for co-use as well as just access for kids to get to school.
And I remember years ago when that was, initiated, I remember there was something regarding that, but then I'm not sure where that went, and I know they ended up building their own multi-purpose field.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, anything else? Looking forward to Central Park being completed, and excited about that. 9.7 Maintenance Division Report.
Okay, so we've had 54, this is internally submitted facilities, submitted work orders. 27 are still pending, 27 are completed. if anybody knows anybody, we have a facilities position open too. So we've had guys that are on vacation. We only have, so we have positions open and highly needed right now for some skilled facilities. So that opens, it closes the 14th of August. So if you know anybody, please send them our way to turn in an application. There was 125 work orders submitted for the parks and the right-of-ways, 94 completed. 9 of those were submitted by residents. That's through the city app. We highly recommend that anything that you guys see, put through that app. It just helps us another eyes in there. Sometimes we don't see things. It could happen after hours. When you guys are there, it just helps us so we know we can take care of it right away. We still had 31 pending. And then the park visits in May, we had 208. In June, we had 289. And then in July, we had 370 park visits. We haven't had, the park rangers haven't been doing their normal bike rides that they do. It's just been a little too hot for them. Even in the morning time, it just gets real hot. But we'll get some mileage back on there with them. But they are definitely busy at the parks throughout the week. Morning times, evening times, we have a different schedule for our rangers. And that's all I have for our maintenance division update. If you guys have any questions.
Questions or comments?
Just one quick one.
Yeah.
How's our plants from MBT doing, Menifee Better Together?
They're actually doing really well. Awesome. So the plants, probably about 95% of those have all survived that are there. So they're doing really well.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 10, commissioner reports on committee activities. Do we have any commissioner reports?
Just, I know, Complete Streets Plan Advisory Committee is, they've had one meeting, there's another meeting upcoming. I missed the meeting that you had asked me to attend because I ended up being out of town, but I was able to provide some comments to that meeting. And I know they scheduled another one coming up in September.
September, yes.
Yeah, September. Also, MCAC is going to be meeting here in about 2 weeks as well, too. So I'll have to get Commissioner Peterson on Ms. LeBron's mailing list.
Okay. Thank you. Item 11, future agenda requests.
Although we've covered a lot of the future agenda items pending, there's still one more that we're going to be bringing back to the commission is to evaluate proposals for a permanent city holiday tree. We are going to the city council fairly soon on a contract for our holiday lighting and for the tree lighting ceremony. So if you recall last year, we had a very much enhanced tree lighting ceremony. We had a partnership with a private entity to provide all those lights, and we also did a lot more decor at the city facilities. So we put that out to bid this time, and we're recommending another vendor to provide that service this year.
Okay.
If I can just add, just so that there's an awareness of what the timing on this might be, this year we did approve a 2-year budget, and this is actually something that might be coming to council in year 2 of the budget cycle, because we're hoping at that point in time, the parking lot at Central Park, an amphitheater, Paloma Watch Bridge might be a good opportunity to review that as a location for a permanent holiday tree site. So year 2.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, commissioners? Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second?
I second.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 7:12. Thank you all.